Hey guys, I want to talk about a topic that's pretty important, and I want to talk more in detail about it later. Sometimes when I think of these topics, and I have a certain energy towards the topic, that if I do the video later, the energy won't be there. When Trump was first elected, I looked at it as, okay, this is going to be a complete test or a complete chance for them to run 100% free market capitalism, no regulations, no rules. And that's basically what has happened with Trump. That's what you watched him do. And my fear is that, not that it would work, but that a bunch of people in the stock market would get money. You know, derivatives of the stock market would make money. And it's okay, everything works. It's like what he talks about the stock market. He talks about that now. Well, that means nothing for most working people. We know who has stocks. We know who has most of the stocks are very rich. So that means nothing except to these billionaires basically saying, I made your money back. Haha, you should be happy. You know, that was my fear. And with the pandemic, you know, it's kind of taken away that fear from me, because to me, what you've seen with Trump with this pandemic is this is the consequences of a system that is 100% free market capitalism. No protections, no oversight, no regulations. And so there is no masks, there is no protective devices to protect our healthcare workers. You know, Trump having to run in and take the gowns and take the masks and all that from our workers, our emergency workers, our first responders. You've heard about that many times over. Trump is basically a cautionary tale to democracy. This is what can happen. If you have a bright, a young, black man that gets elected, that is able to actually move towards a more unified world or a more unified Western Hemisphere. He's able to, he got a lot of things wrong, but actually put forward a lot of the climate change stuff, acting on climate change. And so you get this backlash. You get this huge backlash of people that basically say, fuck you. You know, we don't care. We want to make money. That's what America is. That's what we think America's about. And so you get Trump. You know, I think that he's a cautionary tale to any democracy out there of what can happen when our better selves go out and vote, and our worst selves, our worst selves go out there and vote, and they engage in this kind of weaponized political discourse. They legitimize this vulgarity, this violence at the center of all political thought. You know, I think that Trump is really a cautionary tale more than anything. About putting an idiot in charge of what's supposed to be a leading, one of the leading nations of the world. I don't think America is anymore, but that's what it was, or should have been. I've talked about it before how, yeah, we've had this large military, we've had all these troops and all that stuff, but I think that most people looked at America as a force for good. And I've talked about how with Trump, I think that's gone. I think that force for good, that narrative is gone, and nobody buys it other than Trump's base. And I don't even think they care about that. I don't think that's a value to them anymore, being a force for peace or a force for good or whatever. I don't think that's important to them anymore. I don't. Maybe it was never important to them. But I was right, and the pandemic was the test. It was the test of, you're driving without a spare tire, you're driving with an empty gas tank, you're driving with no insurance or whatever, and you're tested. The police pull you over or you break down. There's a test, right? So, If the pandemic hadn't happened, Trump probably getting reelected. You know it, and I know it, and that's the reality of it. The pandemic is what sunk him, and the fact that Trump is so unable or so unwilling to simply acknowledge when he's wrong, to simply acknowledge when he's made mistakes. I think that kind of stuff hurts him more than anything. Peace.